Well, welcome to the Middlesex Moments radio show. I'm Dr. Anna Wasesha, president of Middlesex Community College, right here in Middletown, Connecticut. And joining me today is Rick Felton, who has been working with the MxCC Foundation for about a half a year on a project to raise some money for the really remarkable developments that are happening on the campus right now, including an addition onto Founders Hall that we are now calling the Pavilion, and a revitalized and kind of revisioned Center for New Media that is taking components from our old broadcast cinema program and some of our communications and theater courses and digital graphics and digital communications and social media. And I'm so pleased that you're joining me on the show today.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you. It's been very exciting to be working with the Middlesex Community College Foundation as we strive to bring more people into the fold of supporting the great educational opportunities at Middlesex Community College.
There have been so many times when I've been in the community and I've met people who, and then I say who I am and I'm new to Connecticut, and they say, well, I went to Middlesex Community College, or my son went, or frankly, my neighbor across the street has a grandson who's going to Middlesex right now, talks to me about it all the time. There are a lot of people who have been touched by this institution, and I think that the foundation maybe isn't as well known to them as it could be. People might think that they had a great experience here at the college, but then that was the end of their relationship with Middlesex. I always hope that they know what we're doing and how many things we have where they're way more than welcome. The events on campus.
I think you're so right. The foundation isn't as well known. It's certainly guided by wonderfully committed volunteers who care deeply about the scholarships that they offer and the program enhancements that they offer through their fundraising. But they're a quiet foundation, and so it is important to remember that the foundation exists there to raise money, to enhance the programs at Middlesex Community College, and to provide much-needed scholarships for students that come here.
Mm-hmm. And they've done a great job about the scholarship side of it. I think historically the foundation has focused very heavily on that. And it's incredibly important for everyone who attends the college to be able to be confident about how they're financing their college education and to understand the return of value as well, that they're investing in themselves and their future. The state of Connecticut's investing in all of ourselves and our futures by supporting the college. But that's not to say that in the end it isn't, it's an expense and people have to figure out how to pay for it.
It is an expense. But when you compare it with other four-year colleges and multiple-year colleges and bachelor degree colleges, it's a great bargain because you're getting also much more hands-on education from faculty. There aren't 500-person classrooms. There are 30-person classrooms, so you really do get to feel the sense and learn from the faculty members.
Yeah, it's the old idea of being a name, not a number.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And mass education, I'm a boomer, right? So mass education was the only way they could figure out how to take care of all of us were flooding the public schools all at once after World War II. But there are some real downsides to mass education. Middlesex doesn't do it. We just don't do mass education. So I'm delighted to have Rick Felton joining me today, and now we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to talk about the foundation here at Middlesex Community College. Well, welcome back to the Middlesex Moments radio show. I'm Anna Wasesha, president of Middlesex Community College, and today I'm talking with Rick Felton, who is a special assistant to the foundation here at Middlesex. He's been coming around for about 6 months, so you've had a chance to learn a little bit about this college.
Yes, and there are great things going on here. And the foundation does incredible work in strengthening, as I said earlier, the academic programs, enhancing them with the money they raise, and in providing much-needed scholarships for students. One of the keys that they're working on is to reconnect with alums from Middlesex Community College. As you know, every time you walk around in this community, you run into people who started their college education at Middlesex. So it's important that they stay connected or come back and get connected with the college again, because they have great stories to tell about how Middlesex made an impact on their lives. There are a variety of people. There are teachers, there are accountants, there are attorneys, there are policemen. There's all sorts of people who have started here at Middlesex Community College and gone on to great careers and great lives because of the firsthand instruction that they got from the faculty here.
Well, I've always thought that community colleges are a lot like a neighborhood, and that we get to know our next door neighbors somewhat, maybe some of the people down the street, but in the end, Every person who lives in that neighborhood has got a remarkable story to tell. And that's my experience here in community college. And I know Rick has been talking with graduates and with current students, and I wondered if you would share some of those stories, Rick.
Thanks, Ann. I want to tell you a couple of stories of wonderful students who just graduated a couple of weeks ago. There's a great woman who hasn't had an easy life. Sarah made bad choices when she was very young that put her on the street. She got addicted to drugs and alcohol. She left her parents' home. Many times she tried to clean up, and now she finally is. She came to Middlesex Community College with a dream. She wanted to help other young people succeed in overcoming their addictions. She's had a tough life, but she's well on her way to making a difference. Thanks to the faculty in the Division of Social Sciences and Sarah's hard work, she graduated with high honors. Her lowest grade in her last semester was an A-, and she was not happy with that. But she's well on her way to realizing the dream of helping other young people overcome their addictions. Then we talked about, at one point, the Center for New Media, which is such an exciting program. Heather came to Middlesex Community College right out of high school because it was affordable and she wasn't sure what she wanted to do with her life. When she started, she took whatever classes sounded interesting. A lot of students do that. Then she discovered her passion, broadcast cinema. She switched her major. As she studied, she was amazed to discover what great equipment and broadcast studios were available at the college even before the new center has been built. Between the teachers who were always here to help, the access to equipment, and their teaching methods, she has loved every minute of being here. She's planning on attending Eastern Connecticut State University to earn a bachelor's degree with a major in broadcast. These two stories are only two of the stories that you hear around the campus, but they're made possible by the generosity of donors to Middlesex Community College Foundation.
Thank you for sharing those stories. I hear them myself. I've been surprised also, not surprised, but really happy to see, now that we're nearly 50 years old, that actually several generations of family members have come to Middlesex. So there's clearly a strong sense of connection, but we could always use more because, do we have any estimates? Actually, at graduation time, they usually figure out a number of how many degrees we've actually conferred since 1968, and it's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them. Yeah.
I mean, just this past graduation, how many did you confer?
339.
Right.
And my favorite, I don't know, every part of graduation is my favorite part, but I love the fact that our youngest graduates were 18 years old and our oldest was 78.
My goodness.
Yeah.
60 years difference.
I know.
And they probably both learned from one another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what I hear from alums who have gone to class here at Middlesex is the classroom discussion and the exchanges that happen between people from different walks of life, different ages, different cultural experiences is really the richest part of it.
Yeah.
We all learn from books. Thank heavens we have books. But we have to process it and make it make sense. And that's usually what you do through discourse.
That's right. And there was just a report released recently about what people remember in a presentation. And people will remember the stories that are told in presentations, not the facts, the charts and things of this sort. And that's one of the great things about having such small classrooms, is that you can have a lot of give and take and things of that sort. And thinking about the Middlesex alums, there's a great opportunity for alums to get back in touch with Middlesex, and we've got a great offer for them this year.
We certainly do. Another one of my most favorite things about Middlesex Community College is that we're the summer home for Arts Farm's production of a Shakespearean play. And I've been lucky enough to see now, I think this will be my 4th year since I've been here for 3. And this year is going to be King Lear with John Basinger, who's a local legend, I would say. He memorizes incredibly long texts from Middle English and Late English and Late Middle English and Old English. He's just a brilliant guy, and he's doing King Lear. And it will be on the campus in the Grove 2 weekends. They're going to have 8 productions. So the first set of 4 starts on Thursday, July 17th and runs through Sunday, let's see, that's the 20th of July. And then the next week it starts again on Thursday, July 24th and concludes on Sunday, July 27th. And the sets are marvelous. The setting is marvelous because you get to be outdoors under the starlit sky, watching the sun go down and seeing this marvelous magical play. It's rain or shine, but it's always better if it shines because it's outdoors. Actually, there's a rain alternative in Chapman Hall, which is our library. So anyway, there are 8 opportunities to see this incredible play. John Basinger playing King Lear on this beautiful campus in the middle of the summer. So Rick, can you explain what we're going to do this summer?
Yeah, we've got a great opportunity for alums who want to register on our site with their information, their new information, up-to-date information. For a limited time, we have a limited number of tickets for any alum who hasn't already signed up on our website to go to mxcc.edu/alumni, and they can fill out this short form giving us their name and contact information, and we'll send them 2 tickets for any of these days that this great Shakespeare Fest is going on, this great King Lear. And it's just a way to say we're proud of our alums, we're excited to be connected with them, and we want them to be excited to be connected with us. So again, it's mxcc.edu/alumni, ALUMNI, and fill out that form, and we have a limited number of tickets to give away free.
And on top of that, anyone who hasn't been on the campus for a while, when they come to the Grove, will be able to cast their eyes westward, and they'll see the shape and frame of the new pavilion on Founders, because the roof is up and you can see this fantastic swooping ceiling. It will cover both an interior gathering space, a commons, and then also is going to cover a huge deck that looks out onto the woods. So, I mean, every day when I come to work, I love to see a little bit more happening out there. And by the end of July, it'll be even more clear how gorgeous it's going to be.
It is going to be beautiful. I wish they'd finished it sooner than later, but it is going to be a great gathering space for students and members of the Middlesex Community College community. But it'll also be a great gathering place for organizations that want to have dinners or conferences. One whole side of it will be glass. It'll just be spectacular view out into the Grove. That's the great hall inside the pavilion, and then outside is going to be just a beautiful sun deck. During 9 months of the year will be just spectacular. There'll probably be 3 months where it'll be a tad chilly. But
that's all right, because there's going to be a fireplace on the inside.
On the inside,
right.
Really.
So I'm a Minnesota person, but there's nothing better than, for example, cross-country skiing and coming up out of that kind of cold and into a room with a fireplace.
Right.
So, but you want to stand out on the deck, even if you're all bundled up in your down coat and your parka and your boots, your mucklucks. Yeah, actually 12 months out of the year it's going to be great.
And I'm glad you mentioned that fireplace. How exciting it was that the Student Senate voted money to help fund that fireplace. Mm-hmm. It showed a real dedication to the facilities and to the community by that vote of using funds that are paid to the Student Senate by the students. That whole pavilion is a great statement about the future of Middlesex Community College.
And in the year following, so we're sort of dreaming now, but this is not a dream, this is a plan. Several of our faculty and the Environmental Students Club and others who just are passionate about the environment are going to be creating 2 meadows. One is intentional and one is essentially a matched set, but it won't have any interventions. And so it'll be a place to study, you know, what happens with meadow in this region of the United States. But also it's going to be incredibly beautiful because it'll be filled with the native wildflowers and the pollen and the insects and the pollinators, my favorite pollinators, the bees and the butterflies, occasional bat. The 3 Bs. But, even in terms of the bats, it's important to remember that there's a virus that's been attacking the bats. And as creepy as some of us may think bats are, they're central to pollinating.
Right.
I mean, they're just as important as those bees and butterflies. This meadow will help that out, too. There's even more than just the beautiful forest out there to look upon. And there's a restorative value to the green world that I think everybody who has ever experienced it understands, and even those who haven't experienced it, those who have grown up in the centers of cities and the concrete jungles and all that, they know that there's some way in which you can exhaust all the kind of experience, this hyperkinetic world that we live in, this digital world, for example, the one that we're actually broadcasting over right now, and you get out into the kind of purity of nature, and it reminds us of the importance of just human existence. For our students and for studying and learning, I'm predicting that we're going to have, our students will be even smarter, calmer and smarter after we get that pavilion built in the back of Founders.
Well, and that ties in beautifully to the relatively new Red Moon Fest that you have every year that is about sustainability and brings so many people onto the campus with great opportunities to learn more about sustainability and to actually taste the products of that sustainability.
Right. So any alumni out there listening, and anyone listening, because we welcome everyone to this college campus. The Red Moon Fest that Rick's talking about is September 6th in the evening, and it'll be in Chapman Hall. And if everything goes as I have planned, the weather will be perfect that night. I'm also planning for perfect weather for the Shakespeare plays.
Yes.
I got lucky for graduation.
I was just going to say, you got lucky for graduation. It was perfect weather,
yeah,
right?
I must be doing something right.
That's right.
I think the weather gods must have felt neglected, and I've paid a tremendous amount of attention to them in the last few weeks. So now they're being kind back to me. Well, we have to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking some more about the foundation here at Middlesex Community College, the college itself, and the ways in which we contribute to the community and hope that the community will contribute to us so that in the end, this part of Connecticut, this region, will be the most prosperous and the most connected any of the communities in Connecticut. We want to make a difference for the college of our community, and to do that, we need everyone helping us along the way. So we'll be back in just a moment. Well, welcome back to the Middlesex Moments radio show, airing over WMRD, WLIS, right here in Middletown and Old Saybrook, Connecticut. I'm Anna Wasesha, president of Middlesex Community College, and today my guest is Rick Felton, who has been working with the foundation here at the college for the last 6 months on all kinds of giving projects, including some major gift campaigns for our new pavilion, which we were just describing, the large addition going off the back of Founders, and our Center for New Media, which is a very exciting development here at the college. I thought I would ask him if he could, because this is his profession, he spent years and years and years doing it, if he could describe how you give to a college. And not everybody knows exactly how to do it. And if you are interested in the various ways that you can give to any charitable organization, but in our case, to the foundation, Rick's got some advice for how that works.
Thank you. It's interesting because a lot of colleges you give directly to the college, but because this is a community college and heavily state funded and locally funded, the best way to support the work through a charitable donation is to give money to the Middlesex Community College Foundation. And you can do that by going to mxcc.edu/foundation, and there's a little donate button there, and you can make a one-time gift, or you can make a monthly pledge if you'd like to the foundation. And that foundation, again, supports an incredible number of scholarships helping students here at Middlesex Community College succeed. And that is very important, even though community college education is one of the least expensive forms of college education available in Connecticut. There are still expenses that some students find very difficult to manage. And so the foundation gives quite a few scholarships every year. We gave over 60 scholarships this year to students who are continuing students or students who are coming from high school, or to help send students on their way into a bachelor's degree program. And so it's an exciting way to help the students here from the community succeed. So you can give a one-time gift, or you can make a pledge to give monthly. But there are other ways you can give as well that can be helpful to the foundation and the work it's doing, and can also be helpful to you. And that's using a term that's generally called plan giving or gift planning, where first of all you can make sure that in your will or trust document that there's a bequest for Middlesex Community College Foundation, so that when you die, some portion of your estate can go to help the students and the faculty here at Middlesex Community College. That's relatively simple to include in your will. If you've already done a will, you can easily do a codicil that will say that you want to leave a percentage or a specific amount of money to Middlesex Community College Foundation for its work with the college. And that will reduce your estate taxes and things of that sort for your heirs. There are other forms as well. You can set up a charitable remainder trust, for instance, which would designate that a certain part of your estate will be used in a trust to fund your living expenses while you're alive, but the remainder of it would go to Middlesex Community College Foundation or any organization that you designated, and that provides current tax benefits and future tax benefits. There are lots of ways. Of course, a direct gift, cash gift right now, helps your taxes because you can deduct that charitable gift from your income. But there are so many ways to help yourself have an ongoing income for life, and then the remainder will go to the foundation. So those are a few ways that are very, very helpful. Of course, I need to be clear, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not a financial advisor. You really want to talk to your financial advisor about how you can use your resources to help the Middlesex Community College Foundation. But there are just a number of ways you can give stock. Giving appreciated stock it can be very, very helpful to you because you won't have to pay the capital gains on the appreciated portion of the stock. So if you had stock that you bought at $2,000 and it's now worth $10,000, you'd have to pay a capital gains tax on that $8,000 difference if you sold it. But if you gave it away, you'd get a deduction for the amount that you gave away and you wouldn't have to pay the capital gains. You can also use stock like that to fund a charitable remainder trust or to set up a number of kind of deferred gift vehicles that will provide you current tax benefits and future tax benefits, and you don't have to pay the capital gains. Now, the reverse is also true. If you bought stock at $10,000 and it's now worth $2,000, which is generally what happens to any stock I buy, you'd want to sell that first and take the loss and then give the $2,000 to Middlesex Community College Foundation. So there are a variety of ways, and I encourage you to talk to your tax advisor and attorney to see the best way to benefit the foundation and the work it does to help students and faculty and to benefit you long term. And I just want to underscore that the foundation relies on the generosity of people to provide the scholarships that transform lives and helps ensure student success and enhance the programs that are going on at Middlesex Community College. Additionally, we talked about the pavilion at Middlesex Community College that's just going to be just a beautiful gathering place. And while most of it's being funded by state support, there are enhancements to it that need to be funded by donations from individuals and from companies and foundations. And if you're interested in learning more about the pavilion at Middlesex Community College, I encourage you to call me, Rick Felton, at area code 860-343-5861 to talk about how you might be part of that beautiful pavilion and how you could be honored by making such a gift. Also, the Center for New Media is one of the most exciting programs going on at Middlesex Community College right now. New media is ever changing. It's almost impossible to say that you have the latest equipment, the latest design, because the media is changing so rapidly. What Steve Jobs created years ago at Apple, some of that is so outdated now that if he were still alive, he'd be laughing at how old it was. And the Center for New Media is committed to always being on the advancing line of media, both broadcast media, digital media, a variety of art and photographic media that can be designed. It's all way over my head. But it's very exciting to see this center taking shape right now. It will be opening in the fall of this year with new studios, broadcast studios, television broadcast studios, radio broadcast studios, and the most advanced computer equipment. And in fact, one of the challenges will always be to keep it the most advanced. So you can support that with financial contributions. You can support some of the building projects, some of the equipment. You can also support an endowment that will help keep the Center for New Media on the advancing edge. And so that, again, if you are interested in supporting that, you can call me at 860-343-5861. It's very, very exciting work. We'd love to give you a tour of the work that's going on. We'd love to show you the progress on the pavilion at Middlesex Community College. There are just many, many opportunities for you to be involved in making a difference in education here in Middlesex County.
Well, Rick Felton, I want to thank you for laying out all those options for different ways to give to the college. And there are many other ways as well. I imagine that if someone wanted to sit down and talk with you about their connection to the college and what they would like to see happen with donation that they would make, that would probably be the ideal way. So can you tell us one more time how they can connect with you?
Sure. They can call me at 860-343-5861. And I'd love to talk to people who want to reconnect with the college or connect with the first time. Or if they just want to, and I don't mean just, but if they want to make a contribution and not have a conversation, they can go to mxcc.edu/foundation, or they can mail it to 100 Training Hill Road, Middletown, Connecticut, 06457. And if you want to send me an email to start the conversation, you can send it to mx-rfelton, that's F as in Frank, ELTON, at mxcc.edu.
I want to thank you for being my guest today on the show, and I hope you'll come back. I always like to, because we're just getting started talking about this, and I know that there are so many ways in which the contributions and the generosity of people who have cared about Middlesex has actually manifested itself in people having not only successful experiences in school, but actually learning the kinds of things that they needed to learn in order to realize their ambitions and dreams. That's pretty heavy work, and it's what lifts my soul every day when I come to work here. And I'd love to share that experience with alumni and others who know about Middlesex Community College and want to be involved with our good work. So this radio show is now coming to a close, Middlesex Moments. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. So if anyone is interested in learning more about Middlesex, as I always exhort you to do, you should venture out into the wilderness of the World Wide Web, and you will find us at mxcc.edu. I'm Anna Wasesha, president of Middlesex Community College. Thank you for joining us today for this radio show, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.